Hey guys, welcome back to a new video in React Basics Learning series. As part of this particular project, we are building a search application. In the previous few videos, we worked on the layout, the design, the styling, and in the last video, we basically learned how you can add this particular input box and the button. Also, we went through the end design library as well, and we did the install for the end design and used certain components from the end design. So that was a quick recap of whatever we have done so far. As part of the current video, I'm going to cover the implementation part for the handle search and handle search text change, these two functionalities. So one is like handle search text change and other is handle search. So let's get started. So first of all, like why we wanna use this handle search text change. So we want to use this because we wanna update this state variable so that whenever there is a change in the input, it gets updated in the state variable. For that, we will be having the event coming here, so you can call it as e or event. Both will have the same data in it, so let's call it e, and then I can implement the functionality and set the value. So for setting a state variable, we can use the second option that we have, the setter method, which we get from the use state, and let's call that set search text. And here I can use e dot target dot value. So event dot target dot value is where we will have the value, and let's set it. So once we do this, ideally whenever we type something here, right? So let's say if I'm typing salad, so you will be able to see the value appearing here. Also it will be updated in the state variable, and that's why you are able to see, because the value for the state variable is search text, and whenever the on change handler gets triggered, we update the state variable, and that's where the value gets updated automatically, and we see the value updated in the input. Now the next thing is, we want to implement the handle search. So whenever you type something in the search text and you click on this search button, we want to have the search results coming back to us, right? So how we will get the search result? So basically for this particular getting the search result, we will be using some open source APIs, and let's search for that. Think it's called ThemeLabDB API. Let me remove this part so that I can quickly walk you through what all kinds of APIs which are available. So here if you land to this theme lab, uh, the meal DB, so here search for a meal, right? So I think there should be a way to see the API. Click button to upgrade free. Okay, let's go to free recipe API. So as you saw, so this is the free recipe API that I clicked. Let me make it bigger. So this is the one that I clicked. If I click that, I land to this page where I can see there are multiple open APIs which are available. I will be using one of these. So the first one which we have, right, the search meal by name. So this is what we will be using here. As you can see, this API provides option to pass the search string, and where whatever value you pass, based on that it will give one, or it will return you one or more uh, uh, food items which are available, which are matching with the search query. So let's copy this for now. Let's copy this. Also if you want, you can try it out something like this. So if I am hitting this particular endpoint, right, as you can see, I'm getting some data coming back. So it seems the API is working perfectly fine. So just copy that API and put it in our code for reference, so that we can easily change the search text and use it. Okay, going back to the code. So let's go to the code, and here paste it for our reference. So this is the URL that we have, right? So here I will call it as a base URL. So the initial part of it, right? So this part I will call it as a base URL, and then this is something that I will append dynamically based on like whatever user is searching. So let's create a constant and put the URL. Basically you can, let's copy this entire thing Now here I'm not thinking too much about the best practice. If you look at the best practice, the base URL should be only this much. But for now, because our application is very small and we are not going to call this API in too many different ways, so I'm just keeping this entire thing as a base URL, and I need to put it as a string. So let's make it a string, save it. Once you save it, we just need to add this query parameter. This is called as a query parameter. So here s equal to this is a search query, and this is the value for the query. Now this value is going to be our search text in our case. So whenever user is searching for something or user clicks on this button, right, at that point what we need to do is, let's create a const, and I will call it as search URL. Okay, and in the search URL what we can do is, so here I am using this backslash, right, and backticks, sorry, backticks, and because I want to form the string dynamically, that's why we are using backticks here. There are multiple ways to do a string concatenation in JavaScript. You can use string plus sign as well, and this is a more advanced way, so we can use this for our use case. Here I'm using dollar sign and these two braces. Basically it says that whatever I put within inside this is a variable. So in this case this is the base URL that we want to use. So let's copy this, paste it here, uh, and also what we want to do is, we want to append the search text as well, right? So for that we need to add this s equal to whatever is the search text value, right? So let's add that dollar, and here I will be putting s, and this is where we can put s equal to, and then this is where I need to put the search text, right? So whatever value is there in the search text, that will get appended at the end. And that's it, our URL is ready. The next thing that we want to do is, like, we want to do a fetch call at this point so that we can get the data from this URL. So let's do a fetch call. Again, there are multiple ways to do these calls. You can use some library as well, but because our application is small and I just want to cover the core functionality and how you can do a network call in React, so that's why, like, I'm trying to keep it simple. Mm, in going forward, like, as we work on more and more projects, I will be covering a lot of other things, and there you can learn all these external libraries which can be used to simplify the process of doing these network calls. So for now let's use it in the fetch. Because it is a get request, we just need to provide the search URL. So we have already created the search URL, and it returns a promise. So in case of promise, we need to use then. There are two ways. Again, you can either use async await based approach, or other is then based approach. So in this case I'm using then. So in then we are going to get the response. So whenever this network call happens, uh, we will be getting the data in the response, and we need to get it in the JSON format. So we need to do response.json to get the data. Also, once you get the data here, right, this also again will we can write one more then, and here we will have the data also in the once we get the data. For now what we can do is, let's do a console.log of our data so that we can see whatever data is coming. If this starts working, not here, it should be search URL, not search text, search URL. Okay, so if we are able to see this data coming back to us in our console window, that means, like, we are able to successfully implement this particular search handler. And the remaining part will be only to render this data, set it to some state variable and render it properly in the search result section. So let's go back to our application and see if data is coming or not. So I came back to the application. I just did a quick refresh, right click and go to inspect and go to console. In console, ideally we should be able to see the data. So now I came back to the search food field, and here let's say I'm typing salad and click on search. I think there is some error. So it says uncaught in promise, syntax error, unexpected token is not a valid JSON. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, there seems to be some issue with the JSON that we are getting, so let's go back and see what we have in the URL. So again, here you can learn about the network tab here. Let's go and see what we are sending in the network. Payload, headers, okay. Okay, let me look into this issue in the next video. Meanwhile, also you can also debug why this is happening, because this video will get longer if I try to fix as part of the video. So I will make a new video, and in that video I'm going to talk why this was breaking. And meanwhile you can also try it out and figure out what is the issue with the fetch call that I have done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.